For any two people in mutual love, one of them needs the other more. Welcome to section 9 of chapter 2 of the Holy Quran. Namshi. Uh, وَإِذْ katalta, وَإِذْ kataltum nafsan فَإِدَّارَ فَإِدَّارَئُكُمْ فَإِدَّارَتُمْ fiha. Remember, ye slew a man and fell into dispute among yourselves as to the crime. وَإِذْ قَتَلْتُمْ نَفْسًا فَإِدَّارَأْتُمْ فِيهَا وَاللَّهُ مُخْرِجٌ مَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْتُمُونَ. And God was to bring forth what ye did hide. What ye did hide. Note 81. In Deuteronomy 21, 1 to 9, it is ordained that if the body of a slain man be found in a field and the slayer is not known, a heifer shall be beheaded, and the elders of the city need and the elders of the city next to the slain man's domicile shall wash their hands over the heifer and say that they neither did the deed nor saw it done, thus clearing themselves from the blood guilt. It seems to be a long commentary, yes. Paragraph. The Jewish story based on this was that in a certain case of this kind, everyone tried to clear himself of guilt and lay blame at the door of the others. In the first place, they tried to prevaricate. And prevent a heifer being slain as in the last parable. Full stop. When she was slain, God, by a miracle, disclosed the really guilty person. A portion of the sacrificed heifer was ordered to be placed on the corpse, which came to life, and disclose the whole story of the crime. Paragraph. The next of this parable is that men may try to hide their crimes individually or collectively, but God will bring them to light in unexpected ways. Full stop. Applying this further to Jewish national history, the argument is developed in the following verses that the children of Israel played fast and loose with their own rights and tradition. Rights is rights, with their own rights and traditions, but they could not thus evade the consequences of their own sin. And that was notes 81 to sign 71 of section 9 of the Holy Quran. We now go to sign 73. وَقُلْنَا اضربوه بِأَسَا وَقُلْنَا اضربوه بَعْدِهَا اضربوه بَعْدِهَا. We said, strike with a piece of the heifer. And strike the body. The body is in brackets. Strike the body with a piece of the heifer. Heifer is also in brackets. Without the brackets, it reads. And we said, strike the with a piece of the. Not much sense. So let's add the brackets. And we said, strike the body with a piece of the heifer. Mm. Thus God bringeth the dead to life and showeth you his signs. Kazalika yuhyi Allahu al-mauta. He brings the dead to life. Mhm. Wa yurikum ayatihi, and shows you his sign. Yurikum ayatihi, and shows you his signs. La'allakum ta'tilun. La'allakum ta'kilun. La'allakum ta'kilun. Perhaps you may understand. La'allakum ta'kilun. Perhaps you will understand. And that was Psalm 73. I suppose, no, without any note. We go to Psalm 74, which has a note. ثم كست قلوبكم ثم كست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك. Thus, henceforth, were your hearts قلوبكم hardened. كست بعد ذلك henceforth. فهي بعد ذلك yes. فهي كالحجارة أو أشد كسوة they became like a rod, hijaratin, and even worse in hardness. أو أشد kaswatan, even worse in hardness. Okay, I remember these passages well. Let's see. وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحِجَارَةِ لَمَا يتفجر منه الأنهار. For among rocks there are some from which rivers gush forth. منها الأنهار. وإن منها لما يشكك فيخرج منه الماء. There are some from which rivers gush others there are which when split asunder send forth water. وإن منها لما يشكك فيهجر منه الماء, gush forth water. وإن منها لما يهبط من خشية الله وأن منها لما يهبط من خشية الله, and others which sink for fear of God, and others which sink for fear of God. All these are related to rocks. There are rocks that sink for fear of God, as well as those when split asunder uh, gush of water. Mm. And others even river comes out of them, rocks. This is what God is telling us. Uh, وَمَا اللَّهُ يُغَافِلٌ عَمَّا يَعْمَلُونَ وَمَا اللَّهُ يُغَافِلٌ عَمَّا يَعْلَمُونَ. And God is not unmindful of what you do. Amma yalamun. Yugafilun, unmindful. He's not unmindful. Yugafilun. La yugafilun. Amma. Ma yugafilun. Amma malun. He's not unmindful of what ye do. Note 82. Note 82. Uh, Note 82. The sinner's heart, sinner, apostrophe S, the sinner's heart gets harder and harder. The sinner's heart gets harder and harder. It is even harder than rocks. Pardon me, viewers. Uh, it's even harder than rocks, of which a beautiful poetical allegory is placed before us. Full stop. In nature, we think there is nothing harder than rocks. Full stop. But there are rocks that weep voluntarily. Oh, can you imagine that? But there are rocks that weep voluntarily, like repentant hearts that come to God of their own accord. Semicolon, yes, colon. Which are the rocks from which rivers, no, sorry. Such are the rocks from which rivers and springs flow. Such are the rocks from which rivers and springs flow spontaneously, sometimes in small trickles, sometimes in big volumes. Full stop. Then there are rocks which have to be split or dug into or blown up with dynamite, and underneath we find abundant waters, as in wells beneath rocky soil. Full stop. Such are the hearts, such are the hearts of a less degree of fitness, which yet melt into tears when some great blow or calamity calls, calls the mind to higher things. And that was note 82 to sign 74. Let's see if we can do 75. Let's see if we can do 75. Uh, afatat, afatatmauna, and yominu lakum, afatatmauna, and yominu lakum. Can ye, into brackets, oh, ye men of faith, can ye, into brackets, oh, ye men of faith, entertain the hope that they will believe in you? Is the question. Afatatmauna, and yominu lakum, وقد كان فريق وقد كان فريق منهم يسمعون كلام الله يسمعون كلام الله uh, Seeing that seeing that a party of you, Fariqun minkum, seeing that a party of them, Fariqun minhum, seeing that a party of them heard the word of God and perverted it knowingly after they understood it. وَفَرِيقٌ مِّنْهُمْ يَسْمَعُونَ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ ثُمَّ يه ثُمَّ يُحَرِّفُونَهُ ثُمَّ يُحَرِّفُونَهُ then uh, and perverted it knowingly. ثُمَّ يُحَرِّفُونَهُ من بعد then من بعد after that ما ما أكلوه ما أكلوه وهم يعلمون after they understood it prevented it أكلوه وهم يعلمون prevented it after they understood it. There doesn't seem to be any commentary to it. No, there's no note to it. Let's proceed to sign 76. وإذ وإذا لقوا الذين آمنوا آمنا قالوا آمنا. Behold, when they meet the men of faith, they say, we believe. وإذا حالوا وإذا حلا بعضهم إلى بعض قالوا أتأتونهم we believe. But when they meet each other in private, they say, shall you tell them what God had revealed to you? قالوا أتحدثوهم, shall we inform them? بما فتح الله عليكم, what that God had revealed to you. ليحاجوكم به revealed to you, that they may engage you in argument about it, about it. ليحاجوكم به عند ربهم, an argument about it before your Lord, in the Rabbicum, before your Lord. Afala ta'kilun. Do ye not understand? Into brackets, their aim. Do ye not understand their aim? And that was sign 76. And each note is 83. Let's go there. Note 83. Note 83 is against meeting. When they meet each other, they say, we believe. And when they meet the believers, they say, we believe. And when they meet each other in private, it's another thing altogether. The immediate argument applies to the Jews of Medina. So, in other words, there were Jews in Medina. But the more general argument applies to the people of faith and the people without faith, as we shall see below. So the people of faith were, when they meet them, they say, we believe. The people without faith say another thing. As we shall see below. Full stop. If the Muslims of Medina ever entertained the hope that the Jews in their city would Asabari become Muhammad al-Mustafa? Sorry, welcome, rather. Let me take it again. Uh, if the Muslims of Medina ever entertained the hope that the Jews in their city would, as a body, welcome Muhammad as al-Mustafa as the prophet prophesied in their own book, they were mistaken. They were mistaken. The Muslims in Medina, they will be mistaken to think that the Jews would accept Muhammad, who is mentioned in the scriptures. In Deuteronomy 18, in Deuteronomy 18, in Deuteronomy chapter 18, Psalm 18, they read, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee. A prophet, meaning Muhammad al-Mustafa, is in inverted commas and is close. Then into brackets, i.e., like unto Moses, like unto you, i.e., like unto thee, i.e., like unto Moses. And so this was said to Moses, I'll raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee. And this is what God is saying to Moses in Deuteronomy 18:18, uh, which was interpreted by some of the doctors as referring to Muhammad, and they be, and they came into Islam, and they came into Islam. So the good ones among the Jews interpreted it rightly and converted to Islam. Full stop. The Arabs are a kindred branch of the Semitic family and are correctly described in relation to the Jews. Your brethren. It says your brethren. That's referring to the Arabs when you say your brethren. From among your brethren, that from among the Arabs. The Jews as their brethren, yes, as their brethren is even here, as their brethren in inverted commas. So for to God, the Jews and the Arabs are brethren. They are brothers. They are related. Mm. And there is no question that, there was not another prophet like unto Moses until Muhammad came. Colon. In fact, the postscripts, the postscript of Deuteronomy, which was written many centuries after Moses, says, "There arose not a prophet since in Israel." There said into double inverted commas, "There arose not a prophet since in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face." Inverted commas closed. But the Jews, as a body, were jealous of Muhammad. They knew very well that it was Muhammad, but the Jews were jealous of him, were jealous of Muhammad, and played a double part. Full stop. When the Muslim community began to grow stronger, they pretended to be of them. The Jews pretended to be of them, of the Muslim community, but really tried to keep back any knowledge of their own scriptures from them, from the Muslims, lest they should be beaten by their own arguments. So, in other words, they don't want to succumb to mistake or succumb to defeat. And so they try to hide the truth from the Muslims brothers. That's what the verse or the ayah is telling us. Beaten by their own arguments. We haven't finished yet. There is another paragraph. The more general interpretation holds good in all ages. Full stop. Faith and unfaith are pitted against each other. Full stop. Faith has to struggle against power. position, organization, and privilege. This is a very important message. And people of faith have a lot to do. It's always sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. Eh? Uh, Faith has to struggle against power, position, organization, and privilege. Full stop. When it gains ground and faith becomes forward, becomes forward. Sorry, and faith comes. Sorry, when it becomes when it gains ground. Sorry, when it gains ground and faith comes forward insincerely and claims fellowship. Eh? But in its own mind, it is jealous of the armory of science and knowledge when faith brings into the service of God. Full stop. Science is the science that we know, SCIENSE, science and knowledge. Uh, brings science and knowledge, brings, which faith brings into the service of God. Full stop. But God knows all. And will only, if the people of faith will only seek knowledge sincerely, wherever they can find it, comma, and dash, even as far afield as China, as Muhammad said, they can defeat faith on its own ground. The Prophet said, "Utlubu al-ilmi walau fi sin." Seek knowledge even as far as in China. The Chinese were not Muslims, but seek knowledge there in order to beat the Jews. Mm? You can. Uh, and as Muhammad said, they can defeat the unfaith on its own ground. Full stop. Then into brackets, I don't know what to call it. Let's call it brackets. Even though the directive that Muslims should derive knowledge regardless of its location is an acceptable proposition from the Islamic viewpoint, the tradition to which the other refers here is not authentic. And that's all of note 83 to sign 79. No. Yes, to sign 77, rather. To sign 77. Let's see. Yes, note 83 to sign 76, rather. That's all for note 83 to sign 76. When we come back next time, viewers, we shall go to sign 77. God willing. Thank you very much. May God be with you all.